Hi. For those of you who are expecting to see me at 9 a.m., surprise! Uh, I just did this big spiel about how things are so uncertain, and one of the things that I talked about was how the different formats have changed on Facebook, and now doing a Facebook Live is different than it was a few weeks ago. So the learning curve is constant with technology. They're constantly updating and upgrading. So I spoke for about 20 minutes on all kinds of things, and it didn't record because I didn't hit the right button. So we're doing this a little late today, but that's okay. So we're going to do it now. I was talking about fear of uncertainty, and I guess I'll do it again. So welcome. Fear and uncertainty are huge these days. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how we can overcome the fear, and maybe not overcome it, but replace it, or at least slow it down by choosing happy. We get to choose the thoughts that we keep. We don't always get to choose the thoughts that pop up in our head, but we do get to choose the thoughts that we keep. So if you're going to choose the thoughts, if you get to choose the thoughts, then choose happy. It's been so long since we have had complete certainty in our lives. If you've had a completely certain life, that is amazing. But we have had so much uncertainty, and COVID-19 is just another one, although it's a really big one. It is changing the face of everything all at once. While the other uncertainties, like our politics and who we've elected into government, both provincial and federal, and our healthcare system, and all the different areas that we have, are the finances, our savings accounts, our investments. So with all that, and everything has been uncertain for so long that we kind of have gotten used to things being uncertain, but not to this degree. COVID-19 has definitely put us in a place where uncertainty is at the forefront. On top of all those other things, this has kind of pushed it over the edge. This has made us feel like cavemen. Am I going to be eaten by a tiger tomorrow? I keep falling back on that example, because that is one of the biggest things that back then they were afraid of, is being attacked by a wild animal. They had their life, they did their thing, they had their cave, they still made babies, they still survived, they found their food where they could. Their uncertainty was, will I come home at night? And our uncertainty now extends so much farther past that. But that is because we have so much more to lose. So in these uncertain times, one of the biggest things that we can do for ourselves is to remember and recognize that we have a choice. We don't always have a choice in what someone else is doing. We don't have a choice in what the government is doing, or what the healthcare system is doing, or what the market is doing. But we do have a choice in how we respond to that. We have a choice in how we react. So if you're going to choose how you react, why wouldn't you choose to react in a way that makes you feel better? If it actually makes you feel better to yell and scream and rage at the problem, then do that. But for most people, that doesn't make us feel better. That helps release some of the negative energy we have, but then we start building it up again, and then we need another release. So what if we took the approach of, instead of waiting for things to get better, choose how we feel about those things? So what I mean by that is perspective. Excuse me. Perspective is a really interesting thing. I was talking to my daughter who lives in New York, and she said that she's not really worried. Now, I'm not really worried because there's nothing I can do. She lives there. She's a smart girl, so is her husband. I have every faith in their abilities to keep themselves safe, and they are keeping themselves safe. They are interacting with other people as little as humanly possible. They are keeping their distance. They are following the rules. They are staying home. They are doing what they can. They are doing their part to mitigate the risk. That's all you can ask for, is people doing their part to mitigate the risk. Every time someone does their part to mitigate the risk, then the risk is lessened for everyone. So stay home if you can. One of the things she said was, from her perspective, most people in New York are following the quarantine rules, the isolation rules, but there's always going to be a few. She said walking around New York is like walking around New York at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's all the time. So the streets are pretty bare. She actually sent me a picture yesterday when they were at the grocery store, and there was about a block lineup, but there was social distancing between everyone in the lineup, which was awesome to see. And they were letting people in the stores in stages, and she said even the people in the store practice social distancing. She said there were people cleaning like crazy. She's also said that there are places that have shut down, stores that have shut down for a few days because someone in the store ended up with COVID, and they shut down the store to do a deep clean before they reopened. And with all these people doing their part, that is a wonderful thing. So perspective, from her perspective, things are happening as they should. This is a necessary step to prevent the crazy that is going on. From our perspective up here, we don't have 30,000 cases. So some people might go, well, what we're doing is a little bit of an overkill, except that the reason they have 30,000 cases is not just because of the amount of population, but because they were all wandering around and no one knew who had it. So without recognizing who might be sick, how do you know who you're coming in contact with? The only real way to prevent what's going on is by isolating or distancing so that we can keep each other safe. And I think that's a good thing. So while we're keeping each other safe, we're driving ourselves crazy because we live in uncertainty. We don't know how long this is going to take. We don't know what's going to happen when it's done. Things are changing as this is going on, and we have no control over that. People are stuck at home and can't work, so they're not making money. They're worried about paying their mortgage, buying food, and maybe their children are at home or in university and can't finish school, and there's all this uncertainty. So while we have all this uncertainty, we do have things that we are certain about as well. And that's actually what I'd like to focus a little bit on right now, is not just the uncertainty, but the opposite. Because no matter how flat you make a pancake, it still has two sides. And I'd like to thank Dr. Phil for that quote. I think that's the first place I heard it was from Dr. Phil. No matter how flat you make a pancake, it still has two sides. So while there's all this uncertainty, there is certain things that we can be certain about. If you're still healthy, you can be certain that right now you're healthy and you're still capable of doing things. So while you have all of this freedom to do the things that you don't normally have the freedom to do, what are you doing with that time? Are you choosing to worry about the things that you cannot do, or are you doing the things that you can do? And one of the things with uncertainty is, I'd love to say that the opposite is being certain, but I think the opposite of all this fear is happy. I mean, really, uncertainty is fear. Uncertainty breeds fear. So the opposite of fear is happy. And we can wait to be happy. We can absolutely wait, or we can choose to be happy now. We can choose to find the things that make us happy. And some would say, how can we be happy in this situation? It's not a case of being happy about the situation. It's a case of being happy inside, being happy within yourself, being able to say, okay, this is the way it is. This is what's going on, and I'm going to choose happy. I'm going to choose happy rather than choose fear, because happy makes me feel better. And really, isn't that what we are all trying to achieve? Isn't that what we are staying home for? So that people feel better, so that people don't get sick, so that people don't die, so that people don't have to struggle or hurt or be in pain. So if that's the case, doesn't or wouldn't that make you happy? I'm pretty happy about staying home because there's some things that I've been able to accomplish that I would not have been able to accomplish otherwise, like cleaning up my kitchen. It had been a disaster for months. Not my cooking area, but I have this area in my kitchen that as soon as you walk in, there's this big counter, and everything just gets dumped on it, and it can get piled pretty high. So I took the time to clean that off, and it looks wonderful and it feels wonderful. So I've been able to successfully keep that clean. And I guess part of it is, I could say at this point, I'm not going out and bringing stuff in that is causing me to dump stuff off on it. But still, the longer I keep it clean, the more chance there is that I will keep it clean afterwards as well. So all of this crazy is going to come to an end. It's going to finish up, and we are going to return to some kind of normal. And when we return to some kind of normal, if we have taken the time to find our happy now, when we start finding our new normal, it will be easier to remain happy or to look at how we can stay happy. Happy is not a destination. I'll be happy when I figure out all the technology. Well, there is no figuring out all the technology. It's changing so rapidly. Every time I use every time I use the same piece of equipment, something on it has changed. That's why my video is 20 minutes late today, but that's okay. I learned something, and I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for growth. So this is going to help us grow. So how are you going to grow? Are you going to grow in fear, or are you going to grow in happy? I'm going to choose happy. So happiness is not a destination. Happy is a place that is within us. Have you ever heard the expression, wherever you go, there you are? So Years ago, years and years ago, I used to think that if I could just change where I live, then I'll be happy. Or if I could just change how much I weighed, I would be happy. And I had to think about, because it's been a long time. It's been a very, very long time since I've thought that way. So how I thought had a direct impact on my life. It had a direct impact on my happy, because I thought happy was a destination. Once I recognized that happy was not somewhere to go, that happy was something I created within me, everything changed. It didn't matter where I went, happy went with me. So my point is, if you're looking for that elusive place where you're going to find happy, it doesn't exist. I mean, you can find happiness on a beach in the Caribbean for a short period of time, but eventually your thoughts and your feelings are going to show up again. So if you change how you think, if you change what you think, if you change your perception, then happy can be within you wherever you are. So no matter where you are, you will be happy. And that's what I'm striving for. Now, I say striving because I am human and a work in progress. And just like every other human, I tend to have my bouts with fallback. I have times where I am less prone to remember, because I get caught up in all the energy. I get caught up in the crazy that's happening right now. In this crazy, it takes a little more work for me to find my happy, because I am feeling everyone else's energy of fear. So you need to remember that the more you find you're happy, the more other people can feel that, and then we will be generating a happy rather than a fearful environment. So work on what makes you happy. And music makes me happy, and I've not been listening to enough music. So that's my goal for today, is to listen to music and find a little more happy. And I mean, there are other things that make me happy as well, but music is one of my big ones. So take a look and see what makes you happy. Figure out what that is and find it within, because you're not going to find it outside. It doesn't matter what's going on in the outside world. I mean, it does to a certain extent, but for you to be happy is a choice. So choose happy and let go of the fear and uncertainty, because the fear and uncertainty, the uncertainty has always been there. The uncertainty, there's always been that uncertainty. It's just really big right now. It's just one really big, massive thing that has been piled on top of a lot of other things that have been uncertain for a while, like our politics and our politicians and our both federal and provincial, and the economy and our medical system, and everything is in flux right now. So everything is uncertain. And now that we have been socially isolating and staying at home, things are even more uncertain. And I think as our world goes on, there's going to be more uncertainty. We've seen it grow over the past years. So get comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncertain, and learn how to be happy in spite of those things. So one of the things that I do is Reiki, which helps people calm down, because you can't think clearly when you are stressed. So there's two things I can do for that. One is Reiki and one is emotional freedom technique. And both of those things can be done online. You don't have to have physical contact to do either one of those things. So if you're looking for a little bit of that, a little bit of help to calm down, a little bit of help to relieve some of that anxiety, I am still here and able to help. There are many of us out there who can. Like I said, everything does not have to be physical and in person. Remember, there is still help out there. We are so fortunate to be living in this time in this age of computers. As much as technology drives me crazy because it moves far faster than I am able to keep up with it. Even this program, like I said, I started 20 minutes late because I didn't hit the right button. And even though it's driving me crazy, I am so grateful that we live in a time when we have the ability to go online and visit with a friend face to face. You can still see people. 20 years ago, I would not have been able to see my daughter because she lives so far away. Now I can pick up my phone and do a video call with her. I can talk with her on Zoom. I can talk with her on Facebook. We have so much to be grateful for, even in this time of uncertainty. Find what you have to be grateful for. Start a journal. Start a gratitude journal. Everyone has something to be grateful for, even if it's just the fact that you woke up this morning. Be grateful that you still have wine in your fridge. Be grateful that there are grocery deliveries. Be grateful that we're keeping each other safe. Be grateful that you have a home to go to be safe in. Be grateful that your kids are healthy and happy. Be grateful for whatever you can find to be grateful for, because gratitude goes a long way to being happy. Let's release some of that fear. Let's let some of it go, if not all of it, and choose how we feel. I'm going to choose happy, at least for today, because today is right now all that we have. Every day is today is all that we have. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. We really never have. We've just thought we did. We don't know what a month is going to bring. It could be 100 times better than it is right now. We don't know. We don't know. We didn't know this was coming. We didn't know it was happening right now. So choose to be happy. Choose the thoughts you keep. And as you do that, our lives will all be better. All you have to do is live for today. Today is the day that you are going to change your life. So I hope you've had a nice experience here. It's been a little scattered. Sorry about that. As I said, I did it once and it went well, and then I realized it didn't tape. So you get version 2, and that's okay. And have a wonderful, happy day.